at South Park Mall in San Antonio. And she called me. She said, "Mija, I'm gonna go to Ana's Linens porque they're having a sale on colchas." And she was trying to tell me they're having a sale on comforters. And I was like, "Oh shit, Ana's Linen, whoop, whoop. Okay, mom, you know what I mean? Like, what, you want some money or something?" So I met her at the mall to give her some. And I told her I was going to go pick up my daughter from school. And when she got done shopping, that I would take her out to eat before she had headed back home. And she said, okay. Now, my family has never been real lovey-dovey, real, like, I love you, and touchy-feely, you know, the kind of family, like, let's sit down and talk. Like, when shit happened in the family, we would just go on about our business. Like, there was no apologies, there was no nothing. Everything was just dusted under the rug like it wasn't shit. And she had looked at me and she said, "I love you." And I'm like, "I love you too, Mom." You know what I mean? What the fuck's going on? Love you. So then she turns and she tells me, "You know what, mija?" I'm Latin, but I mean, for those of y'all don't know what mija means, it's like daughter in Spanish. And she said, "You know what, mija?" And I said, "What, ma?" And she said, "I made it to 2007. And I said, "Shut up. Like, you're going to make it to 2020. And I'm going to take care of you. And I'm going to buy you some Jordans. And you're going to be a jazzy old lady." And she looked at me and she smiled at me. And she gave me this look. And I'll never forget that look. Because that was the last time that I've ever seen my mother's face alive. And I went to go pick up my little girl. And I went back to my apartment. And I was relaxing. And my little brother called me. Anthony. I've never heard my baby brother cry. Ever. This is the youngest. So he calls me. And he's crying and crying. And I'm thinking like somebody did something to my little brother. I got to call the goons. I got to get the gays. Like, that's my heart. So, you know, they touch my brother, it's a wrap for you, pretty much. And he said, "Mom died." And I said, "Bitch, what the fuck did you say?" I got pissed off. I thought the nigga was playing. Like, that's not no fucking joke, nigga. You got your goddamn mind. What the fuck is wrong with you? I went off on him. And he said that she's dead. And I said, "What the fuck? Who told you that? Like, how do you know that? Like, what? I just saw her. So what are you talking about, you know?" And he said that she was at the mall and she collapsed in front of Old Navy. And she never made it after that. So she didn't even make it to Anna's Linens. And I guess when she was telling me that she made it to 2007 and she loved me, I guess that was her way of telling me that she was leaving. You know, that was her goodbye. And I couldn't wrap my mind around what my brother was saying because it was so unreal. Like, I had just talked to her. So now all these things are going on in my head, and it's 5 o'clock traffic, and there's construction zones in the area that I'm at, and they were supposed to be taking her downtown to Santa Rosa Hospital, and she got worse in the ambulance, so they had to take her to Southwest General, which was about a block away from the hospital. And I just remember, I don't know how I got to that hospital. God must have been praying for me because I had so many tears in my eyes I couldn't see. And I was going 100 miles per hour in traffic, bobbing in and out of traffic, in and out of lanes, on the side lanes. I don't know how I made it. But I pulled up and I walked in, and there was so much family there, and I didn't know. Did it take me that long to get there? Or did it just get there that quick? Because I left as soon as I got the call. Well, after I broke, I fell. And, you know what I mean? I broke down. I screamed. I cried. I yelled. I was mad. I punched shit. I broke shit. I threw shit. And then I got up and I went to my mother. So I got there and all my tias and tios were there. My mom's brothers and sisters and sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws. And they stood up and they looked at me because I was my mama's baby. Anybody who knows my mom knows that I was there. If my mom was there, I was not too far behind her. And I never left her. I never left her. Ever. I would have never left my mother. I don't care how old she got or how old I was. I would have never left my mother. Ever. So they know that. And I was my mama's heart. And she was my heart. And I walked in the hospital and everybody stood up. And they looked at me. And they didn't say nothing because they knew there was nothing that they could say. But they stood up and they looked at me and they just nodded their head like it's true. And the legs that have been so strong throughout my whole life, the body that's been through hell and back, the mind that I've worked so hard to build to be so strong, everything was gone. It was like my spirit left from my body or something. I can't even explain the feeling, but I fell. I fell down in the waiting room and my family hovered around me and tried to calm me down. And I couldn't believe it. And then I got up and I said, I need to go to my mother right now. And they let me in. And that walk down that hallway was the hardest walk and the longest walk that I think I've ever walked. I felt like I was walking the Green Mile or something, you know. And I got closer to the door and I turned in. I looked in there. She was laying there. She looked like she was asleep. And I got my mother's body in front of me. When just an hour ago, she was telling me she loved me. So now, I'm in shock. I'm not knowing what the fuck is going on. I'm not knowing what to feel. I'm not knowing what to think. And I'm a very spoiled person. And I'm a very determined person. And I'm one of those people to where I get what I want all the time. I don't give a fuck how or who's going to give it to me. I get what I want. And at this particular moment, this was the first time that I could get what I wanted. I wanted my mom. This was the first time that I couldn't have what I wanted. And I wanted that more than I wanted anything in the world. And I walked in there and I broke down and my father told me not to make a scene. Now, I'm not on the best terms with him at the moment. Me and him have always had an off relationship. And I looked at him and I told him, I said, don't you ever tell me not to cry for my mother. My father was an alcoholic, abusive, more verbally that I can remember than physically, but I do remember some instances, you know, that happened. And, you know, for him to turn around and tell me not to cry for my mother, I felt like, who are you to tell me not to cry for my mother? You don't cry for my mother after everything you put up. You don't have the right. You don't. But he was still married to her for all those years, so he had the right. I had no right to tell him that, like he had no right to tell me that. So I sat there and I held my mom's hand and I played in her hair. And I have a fetish with arms. And the reason why I have a fetish with arms is because of my mom. When I was a little girl, I used to suck my thumb and I used to rub my mom's arm. And that's how I fell asleep. So, for so long, that's all I did. Even when I was an adult and I used to go to the house and I used to go visit her, I would go sit next to her and I would rub her arms. Because that was my comfort zone. So when my mom passed away and I was sitting in the hospital with her, I laid down next to her. I laid next to her. I laid my head on her shoulder. I rubbed her arm like I used to. And I was praying so hard. I was praying so hard. Y'all, I was praying hard. I was praying like I ain't never prayed before in my life. And I told God, I said, if you bring her back, I will never do nothing wrong again in my life. And I pled with them and I begged, but my mom was gone. She was gone. But in my mind, I felt like when you're a parent, you have unconditional love. And you feel like you have so much love in your heart that your love can fix anything. So I felt like if I held on to her a little harder and a little tighter and longer, that all the love that I had for my mom would come out of me and go into her and bring her back to life. That's how I felt. Like I was superwoman and my love was just that powerful. That's how I felt. And I tried to wake her up. I got her arm and I put it around my neck and I told my mom, I said, Mom, if you grab me and you just have a little bit of strength to grab me, I will take you out of this hospital. I told her, just grab me. Just grab me. I will take you out of here. And her arm fell. And I did it again and I picked her up and I did it for an hour and some change. And her arm fell. And I got her arms again and I put them around me and I said, grab me. Grab me so I can take you away from here. And they fell. And I sat there and did that until damn near 9 o'clock at night. And I think that it was just the most achiness feeling that you could ever have in your life. What I felt at that moment, I can't even describe. I felt death inside of me and I was alive. I felt my spirit leaving me. I felt everything, any feeling that I could ever have leaving me. I had nothing. I felt like nothing. I felt empty. And I felt helpless. And I felt bad. Like, how dare you leave me and not tell me? I had things that I wanted to say to my mama before she went. I wanted to say goodbye. Don't nobody tell you when shit like this is about to happen. It just happens. But if I knew that my mom was going to walk in that mall and I was never going to see her again, I would have told her I loved her. I would have hugged her a little tighter. I would have told her thank you. I would have told her what it meant to have a mother like her throughout the years. I would have thanked her for the things that she did teach me.